大家好，欢迎回到我的频道。今天我们聊一个超级重磅的话题，那就是中美关系。这个话题不仅影响着全球政治，也深刻影响着我们每个人的钱包。今天的观点来自对一位商界巨头的采访，他就是阿里巴巴的董事长，同时也是布鲁克林篮网和纽约自由人队的老板蔡崇信。作为一位游走在中美商界和体育界的重量级人物，他对中美关系的看法非常值得一听。
And now we kind of are in a new normal where we believe that the regulatory environment is more predictable. We know what the red lines are, and we know where to go and where not to go. And it's actually made a better operating environment because of the predictability of it.
On a geopolitical level, it seems to be the rhetoric in the United States, what they keep drilling into Americans is to look at China as an existential threat to America, that we're rivals, that we cannot operate and lead the world to prosperity. What do you think?
I don't agree with that view of the world. I'd be interested in your view, David.
I mean, I don't believe in it either. I mean, I don't know why this has to be the only dialogue we have, is that we are bitter rivals.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. I think I could understand why sitting here in America, you look at the rise of China over the last 20 years, 25 years. China has become strong in terms of manufacturing. That's why it's such an export juggernaut. It has become, because of the economic development, it's, China has become a technology juggernaut as well. And the fear is, well, all that stuff, economic strength and technology strength, is going to flow into military strength, and that becomes kind of a national security issue. I understand that. I get it. But I think it's, these are the two largest economies in the world. And I think you just need to take a step back and say, well, yeah, on the one hand, we should compete with China, right? That's fine. The hyperscalers companies compete with the Chinese internet companies globally. But then on the other hand, there is just so many trouble spots in the world that, what did President Trump say, that he stopped 7 wars, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, China didn't start any of them. China has not started a war in the last how many years? 30 years, 40 years. I think China was part of the Korean War, maybe the Vietnam War, but that was a long time ago in history. So in a way, China, if you observe the behavior of the Chinese people and the Chinese state, it's a very peaceful nation. China cares about its own economic development. They care about the well-being of its citizens. And I think there's a lot of friction in the course of competition where China feels that the United States is trying to contain China and stop the rise of China economically.
Just speaking about the welfare of its citizens, you mentioned ByteDance. I think there was reported ByteDance revenue just passed Meta's revenue. I mean, it's a juggernaut.
It's a private company, so I don't know. You're telling, yeah.
Sure. They actually released it, but one of the core products, TikTok, it's a fundamentally different product here than in China. And because of that regulation and a focus on the welfare of its citizens, there's like strict rules in terms of the content and the curation and the algorithms. Whereas here, it's like cat videos and all kinds of nonsense. Although now I notice that TikTok put a STEM section inside of TikTok in the American product for whatever reason. There's a wherewithal that China has to think about its citizenry like that. And I'm just curious, how do we embrace more of that principle?
中美关系竞争，但不必是你死我活。在采访中，主持人开门见山地提到，在美国的论调中，中国似乎被塑造成一个生存威胁，是不可共存的竞争对手。对于这种观点，蔡崇信毫不犹豫地表达了不认同。他承认可以理解美国人坐在这里看到中国在过去20-30年的崛起，从一个制造业大国成长为技术巨头，担心经济和技术实力会转化为军事实力，从而引发国家安全担忧。他表示我理解，但他同时指出中美是世界上最大的2个经济体，他认为 世界需要后退一步来看待这个问题。竞争是存在的，无论是像阿里巴巴这样的中国互联网巨头，还是美国的超大规模公司 Hyperscalers， 在全球范围内，他们确实在相互竞争，合作的必要性。然而，世界上有太多需要解决的麻烦点。Trouble Spots， 这两个大国不应该是唯一的对话模式。蔡崇信特别提到了中国的一个特点，他观察到，无论是中国人民还是中国政府，本质上是一个非常爱好和平的国家。他更关心的是自身经济发展和公民的福祉。他提醒听众，中国已经有几十年没有主动发动战争了。AI 竞赛，一场不分输赢的马拉松。当前，中美在 AI 人工智能领域的竞争被视为国家实力的重要较量。美国的观点普遍是，我们必须赢得这场 AI 竞赛，尤其是在芯片等关键技术上，绝不能让中国占据主导地位。但蔡崇信提出了一个非常独特的观点， AI 不是一场赢家通吃的比赛，而是一场长期的马拉松。他认为 AI 模型发展日新月异，每周都有新的领先者，但这种竞争不具备传统互联网市场中的网络效应，也就是赢者通吃的特性。他给出了他对胜利的定义。我的胜利定义不是谁能开发出最强的 AI 模型，而是谁能更快地采用这项技术。蔡崇信认为，美国不应该只将数百亿美元投入到开发更大的模型上，比如谷歌、微软等超大规模公司每年投入800亿美元的规模，而应该将更多资源投入到技术的应用和普及上。在中国，他看到了更快的应用速度。开放策略，中国企业拥护开源策略。小模型普及，许多公司包括阿里巴巴都在推出更小参数的模型，如17亿、40亿、80亿参数。这些模型更容易在移动设备和笔记本电脑上运行，从而加速 AI 的普及。企业采用率飞速增长。
Because that sort of gets lost in this
Such a good
US-China
question,
thing.
yeah. What can we learn from China, yeah?
Yeah, what should we be doing more of that China does?
Well, first, education. I mean, you have an extremely highly educated population. And, you know, you talk to every Chinese parent, they want their kids to take the college entrance exam and get into the best universities. You know, if they want to send their kids away to school, they want to go to the Ivy League or Stanford or, you know, all of that. So I think the emphasis on education, I think there are some structural issues here in the United States, like the teachers union, that is getting in the way. But there are no teachers unions in China, so.
David, David, I'm curious, looking at this, not in any official capacity, but kind of the same question Chamath and I are sort of probing about here. What is your take on America and China succeeding together? And are we destined to be in conflict with this country forever? Or is there a path forward with our incredible, amazing, dynamic President Trump?
Well, I think, you know, Professor Mearsheimer explained it at Olive Summit last year, that the US and China are in a high-tech competition, they're in a security competition, economic competition. And the reason is because China's become rich and powerful. And the United States does not tolerate peer competitors. We want to be the #1 country, we want to be the most powerful country. The balance of power is, to some degree, a zero-sum game. Economics are not, but power is. And the history of the United States is we want to be #1 and we don't like having peer competitors. And I mean, that's the bottom line. Now, I mean, there are good reasons for this. We live in an anarchic world, meaning there's no higher authority. If you get in trouble in the global system, you can't call 911. And so countries privilege their survival over all their considerations, and the way to survive in the international system is to be powerful. And you measure your power based on the gap between you and the next most powerful country. And I think that 20 years ago, China wasn't seen as a threat because it wasn't rich and powerful, but now it is. And I think that's what's led to a much more hawkish environment in Washington. And I can't disagree with all of it, because I think it's very important that the United States win the AI race. We don't want China, for example, to dominate in AI or in chips. We want as Americans, We want the United States to be the most powerful
hawkish?
country. Now, if I were Chinese, I would want China to be the most powerful country. And I don't have any resentment towards Chinese people who want their country to be the most powerful country. So there's no animosity in saying this, but I want the US to be the most powerful country. And, you know, in my little part of the world, that means winning the AI race.
Can I respond to that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really important that you as a patriotic American, you want America to win. But I think when it comes to AI, there's no such thing as winning the race. I think it's a long marathon. And, you know, you could just see by these model companies, every week there's a model that's leading, but then the next week another model overtakes them, right? So, and the other thing is, it's AI is one of those. We haven't figured out what is the business model is, but in our business in e-commerce, we have a marketplace model with network dynamics. But I'm not sure if the development of models has those network effects that means winner take all, right? So I don't think AI is a winner take all field. I think what my definition of winning, is not who comes up with the strongest AI model, but who can adopt it faster. And I think people here in the United States, a lot of resources should go into adoption and diffusion of the technology, as opposed to just plowing, I mean, literally each of the hyperscaler companies each of them is investing something like $80 billion a year. But, I think if you look at China, a couple things are going on. Number one, China has espoused open source. And second, a lot of the companies, including ourselves, have launched models that are smaller, not the trillion parameter models, but we have a model that's 1.7 billion parameters, another that's 8 billion for like mobile devices and laptops. So with these types of development, I think it's more conducive to faster adoption. Yeah. You want AI to proliferate. So now, you look at China, I'm not saying China technologically is winning in the model war, but in terms of the actual application and also people benefiting from AI, it is made a lot of development. I've seen a survey of Chinese firms. Last year, only 8% are using AI, were using AI in their business. Now that number is approaching half, 50%. So the adoption rate has been fairly fast. And I think that the two countries, AI is such an important element of life. It's almost like air, right? And why would any one country say we have sole claim to air? We should. There's so many things that AI can do that could, in medicine, in biology, I think there's a lot of room for cooperation.
Joe, one of the key questions that everybody asks when we talk about AI, and whether you spin your own models, which you do, which you've done a good job, and some people just take them off the shelf, is the actual net impact in the operations of the business. Does it change the number of people you hire? At what level does it change it? Does it change the efficiency? Does it change the way you think about certain jobs? What's the practical application that it's doing for you guys on the ground inside of Alibaba?
Yeah. It's definitely made our operations more efficient. So we actually don't have to hire as many people. I'm on this sort of mission to write our quarterly earnings release with AI, and maybe just
have a model ready.
And also put AI on the analyst conference call, see if people can tell the difference. But anyway, then they'll get rid of everybody in the finance department. But the biggest impact AI has made is with we incorporate AI into all of our consumer-facing apps. So we're in e-commerce, we're in maps, we have a food delivery business, and once you infuse AI, the consumer have a massively better experience. and that generate more user base for us. So we're seeing the impact from the sort of the uplift on the revenue side.
Is the workforce then naturally attriting as more and more of the workload is done?
Yeah, we haven't announced any layoffs because of AI,
Right.
but I think I keep asking our engineering leads about how much of the code is written by AI today. I think the answer I get is all over the map, depending on which department you ask, but I think it's maybe 30% at this point.
Already.
Yeah.
Already.
I'm doing kind of a weighted average of different, yeah.
Alibaba is an enormous business. It's in so many countries around the world. How do you build a culture? How do you manage like just the insanity of having so many employees, so many needs, so many issues? How do you deal with it?
Focus. So I came into the chair, I was sort of kind of phasing out. I was focused on the Brooklyn Nets. Then about a year and a half ago, I came back into the chairmanship of the company. The first thing I said is, we can't talk about our company as being in 6 different businesses. It's just too confusing. We're in 2 businesses, e-commerce and cloud computing, with an AI element in it. Those are our 2 businesses, core business, and so having that focus was absolutely crucial to get our people, our teams to focus and execute.
Maybe end with just forecast for the season?
The whole league or just the Brooklyn Nets?
Maybe just the Nets.
Well, I have to say we're in a rebuilding year.
Yeah.
You have a lot of picks.
We spent all of our picks. We have 5 first-round draft picks this past summer. We have 1 pick in 2026, and we hope to get a good pick. So you can predict what kind of strategy we will use for the season. But we have a very young team. So
we were talking to Dara on the last panel on how China is a bit different in how it looks at autonomy, self-driving. There are tests going on there, but they want to also make sure that there is tranquility and peace in the country and people don't lose those jobs, those driver jobs. And so what's the climate in China? What do the Chinese working class think when they see self-driving cars and they see tens of millions of people employed as drivers? There have been protests already in Wuhan, and protests in China are a very rare thing. Based on what I know, I could be wrong. I have a superficial knowledge, obviously. You have a deep knowledge. What can you tell us a little bit about how the government and the people of China think of this incredible revolution and the impact on jobs?
I think the government is all in, embracing it. And in fact, the government just a few weeks ago launched a kind of a AI plus policy. And they say in 2030, which is 5 years from now, they want to see 90% penetration of AI agents and devices and things like that in society. That's what the government has publicly, officially said.
Just an all-in,
just all in. There's really not a lot of talk about AI replacing human jobs. Maybe there's isolated incidents, but in general, there is an anxiety about jobs. China graduates about 10 million college graduates every year, and today, if you look at the youth unemployment rate, which is age between 16 and 24, including graduates, it's 18%. It's actually quite high. So there's a lot of anxiety about that. Partly it's because the economy even though the overall conditions of the Chinese economy is pretty good in terms of infrastructure, access to energy, and all those things, but there is still a malaise right now because China has gone through the last 4 or 5 years of a property slump. Everybody's average home prices are down like 30%. So there's a very negative wealth effect, and that's still lingering.
Just quickly, is there any fear of AGI in China? You know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
That out of control superintelligence, is that a fear, or is that just an American thing?
People in government don't talk about it too much because they believe that they could control it better, maybe better than in a society here in the U.S. But there's some lingering fears. But I was just listening to Demis about he's predicting 5 to 10 years. But if he's saying 5 to 10 years, I think AGI is probably 20 years from now, and it's because the emphasis is on the word general. You have to be able to, your AI has to be able to generalize and apply principles to scenarios that you've never seen before, right?
Joe, thank you very, very much. It's great to see you.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Joe Tsai.
David, thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Pleasure. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, brother.
他提到，去年只有8%的中国企业在其业务中使用 AI， 而现在这个数字已接近50%，采用速度非常快。他将 AI 比作空气，认为任何一个国家都不应对空气拥有唯一的权利。中美两国在 AI 对人类有巨大益处的领域，如医学和生物学，应该有巨大的合作空间。中国能交给美国什么？教育与国家战略。在被问到美国可以向中国学习什么时，蔡崇信提出了一个关键点：对教育的重视。他指出，中国有着受过高等教育的人口。他提到，每个中国家长都希望自己的孩子能参加高考，进入最好的大学，或者去常春藤盟校、斯坦福等美国名校留学。他认为，中国对教育的重视非常值得学习。此外，在 AI 对就业的影响上，蔡崇信也给出了一个中国视角。政府的 all in 策略，中国政府对 AI 的态度是全面投入。他们提出了 AI 加政策，目标是到2030年实现 AI 智能体在社会中90%的渗透率。就业焦虑与应对，虽然政府层面很少公开谈论 AI 取代人类工作，但社会上确实存在就业焦虑。中国每年有大约1000万大学毕业生，而16至24岁的青年失业率在当时甚至达到了18%。这种焦虑部分归因于过去几年房地产市场的低迷和随之而来的负面财富效应。最后，关于人们对通用人工智能 AGI 失控的恐惧，蔡崇信认为中国政府对此谈论不多，因为他们相信自己能更好地控制它。但他个人根据专家的预测，认为 AGI 的实现可能还需要20年左右。总结与思考，从蔡崇信的访谈中，我们可以清楚地看到，竞争是事实，冲突非必然。尽管存在竞争，但蔡崇信不认为中美注定冲突，他看到了合作的可能性。AI 赛道的新定义，胜利在于普及和应用，而非单纯的模型技术领先，为中美 AI 发展提供了另一种思考路径。教育和民生是中国的核心关切，中国对教育的重视以及对 AI 影响就业的社会应对是美国可以借鉴的。那么各位观众，听完蔡崇信的观点，你们认为中美关系更像是永无止境的竞争，还是存在合作共赢的可能呢？在 AI 时代，是先发制人更重要，还是快速普及更重要？欢迎在评论区留下你的看法，我们下期再见。